we need or what can be done. I think we should again be willing to invest in somebody who can find us more money so we can do it all in one go. And as I asked earlier, Clive, you said David Alderoy. That has been mentioned before we get in other meetings. All I ask is how can we do this? How can we? Does it have to be a committee? Can it be something that can be decided in the meeting? We need to think of timescales as well, so we can't just leave things like this doing. I mean, again, I've been working on the project for a while now. It doesn't look good if it's been left for a while while you're trying to compose all these different quotes together. And it would be good if we get a professional in who can do it for us on our behalf, because these people are paid for it. I mean, we're all just members of the public. These people go do this every day, and I think it would be a good investment for us to go out and do that.
Okay. Right. Yeah, just to, I'm not sure whether some of the new members of the council are aware of a lot
Could
of the
you use the mic, please?
Sorry, Christine. A lot of the new equipment, well, I say new, unfortunately, like every other play area, it gets vandalised and you know, it breaks down. This and I think two of the other areas, if you remember, they were paid for by Play Pathfinder money about 6, 7, 8 years since. We had 50,000 spent on here, I think 50,000 on one of the other play areas. So that sort of money is out of our compass. We can't afford to do that as a parish council. So the only way we're going to look to renewing the equipment or buying it is from a grant somewhere or funding application. Now, I go down to Woodset's parish council meetings quite on a regular basis, and Miles used to live there, he's aware of the situation. They've kept applying for money. I think the latest one they've got is for the exercise equipment. Like an outdoor gym it's called. And they managed to get the money down there, but that took them quite a long time. It's finding the right funding stream that will pay that money. But we were lucky with this because it was planned for Wickersley, I think, in a couple of areas, and where it's supposed to go, I think they decided to build some houses on it, so that money was surplus. We put a bid in for it, and we had to get lucky and got like this, and I think maybe Kendall Avenue one up there, and I'm not sure about Southampton, whether we got it for all three, but we got quite a lot of money. But that's the sort of financial level you're talking about to start renewing these, and I think to it, we need an overall report on all three areas. We need some assessment of what state this equipment is, state it's in, and how we go about replacing it. You know, do we do it area by area? As I say, it's not, we can't afford it as a parish council, it's way beyond that. I mean, some of these pieces of equipment are £4,000 and £5,000 a time. So you can only, there's only so many you can buy. It's like a drop in the ocean. It doesn't improve an area. Put in one thing, and as Darren said about the fence, unfortunately it's chicken and egg. Unless you know what you're going to put on there, you don't know how big an area fencing you want to start off with. So it's doing the two in tandem. You've got to see what equipment's available. And I spoke to Anna about it, and there's a guy at Bolingbroke House that deals with those play areas, such as the one at Greenlands Park, Stuart Kenny, and he will come and give us some advice on that and have a look round. And they're buying equipment all the time. We can Stuart, don't we?
But how do we do that as a council?
But I think we need to do that as a council to get somebody in, as I said, from their that's all he does is look after the players. We need somebody with that knowledge to come and have a look and give us some, hopefully, free advice and to see which route we go down. But it needs tackling as a full project throughout the parish. But it's not going to be a quick fix, but as I say, we've got to apply for funding because that's the only way we're going to get some of these pieces of equipment. And I'd say Woodsets are still trying with about a third bid, I think, for that.
Which is why maybe we should invest in some
outdoor gym, which is but I think even from those, they'd like you to put some money towards it, I think, as a part state. So we need to be looking as a council, if we're looking to do things like this, it's like the Lichgate where we apply for money for that, you need to have some money in a pot for that. Likewise, the play areas, so at least you show that you're thinking about, you know, being involved in that and putting some money aside from the parish to start that work. So I think we need to sit down with a professional fund, right, in my belief, and take it from there and see what we do. But we also need a report on these areas. Sorry, Drew.
Christine, Christine, the microphone.
Yeah.
Clive has answered mine.
Okay.
You've answered mine, Clive. Thank you.
At least I didn't.
Yeah, just a quick, Miles just asked the questions, how do we go about doing this? Well, if you'd like to volunteer, Miles, the best way to do this is to set up a working group, and you probably only need yourself and a couple of others go around the parks, identify what you think's wrong, come up with some ideas, make a short report to councillors. Once we agree, disagree, look at the way forward, that's then the period when we would make a decision how we're going to fund it, whether we're going to go for grants, etc. But you have to start the project. Again, well, I agree with what Clive's saying to a certain part, you've got to get professionals on board. But I think at the early stages, you have to do the groundwork yourself to get the momentum moving, because what you find is the more people you start to consult who are so-called professionals, the more interest they have, the more they want to put their own input in, the more recommendations they do. So my suggestion is set a working group up first, get the momentum moving, get the general plan decided, come up with some suggestions of what equipment you want, and once we've got to that stage, then we'll have a chat as a council, and then we'll look at moving on to the next stage. That's probably the best way of doing it.
Could you do
I will-
that, Stuart?
Well,
I've got other projects on at the moment.
I will actually do that. I'll take that because I'm already doing a lot of consultation on some of these parks already anyway.
So, I can't put myself to stick my hand up and get
Yes,
myself
I
to speak, but so at the last meeting of the the finance committee, Clive made us aware that there was an offer a while ago for the chair to meet with David Allroy. I think that's the correct name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Funding advisor. We agreed there that I would go and meet him to look at the grants. Miles, do you want to come with me
I'd like to,
and we do it together?
Yeah.
So could I propose that Miles and I investigate the grants, and the clerk's aware of some grants, so that we get together and we look at the grants.
And then the other councillors, yeah,
any other
to me,
councillors that want
yeah.
to come
Yeah,
in.
if you let me know.
And we suss out the grants we can apply for and what the funding is. So the quotes that we've got in here are from 1 to 10,000 for the.
but that's for one small
for the
area.
equipment for one small
We need
area.
the plan.
We can come back to that though, can't we?
Yes,
Before we do it.
there is one thing that's been done.
Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Don't think that one needs a formal
Yeah.
vote. It's just a case of.
Do you want us to, do you want to take this next week?
Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, and so
Because you had that conversation.
it's in a nutshell.
Item 10.7, Councillor Jensen and Thornton. So this is the implications of the South Yorkshire Police decision not to police bonfire night or the Remembrance Day parade.
Yeah, can I just, I think we've discussed this before, haven't we? This has been raised at various sources, and the implications are that South Yorkshire Police, because of manpower, lack of manpower, etc., that they're not intending to police Remembrance Day services this year. And this affects, I think it came out at Dinnington when British Legion approached them for officers to attend and manage the traffic, etc. this year, and they were told that it was highly unlikely that anybody would be there, so as a result it looks as though their parade may not go ahead. And ours is in a similar situation because we start off from the parish car park onto Brighton Road, across the A57 and then up to the church. At this moment in time, we're not going to be able to do that. If we stick to that route, there are going to be no officers on the right road or to stop the traffic on the A57. Stuart and I went to the Newton Town Council meeting the other week, and the Chief Superintendent was there, that's Inspector Butterworth, or Chief Superintendent Butterworth. Stuart had a word with him outside the meeting, because he was due to go to a meeting in Rotherham with other parish council reps, and we decided that if Stuart had a word, it might save us a journey, which I think in fact it did, because he said at this moment in time there were no plans to police these events, and this also applies to bonfire night, when we traditionally exit people onto Brighton Road and them away. So this has turned into a bit of a double-edged sword. Ironically, at that meeting, the Police and Crime Commissioner was there. He was asked a question about this, and he said, basically, I'll ensure that there is sufficient manpower for these to go ahead. But then we've got Chief Superintendent saying, I haven't got enough bodies to do it, and it's not doing it. So at this moment in time, I went to an area assembly meeting last week and met Inspector Fennell, I think it is, who said that because of the Police and Crime Commissioner's commitment, which I am saying, so do it, they're having another look at it, so we don't know where we are at this moment in time. It might be that they can find sufficient staff, we really don't know, but that doesn't help matters because we can't plan anything until we know what's going on. This is obviously organised by the church normally, but the vicar is leaving the church in September and I don't think they'll do until next year, so somewhere along the line somebody's got to pick this up and organise it, but it may well be that there is no police presence for either. I'm not sure about the bonfire night where that leaves us. That was a bit of a headache last year because we went out on the road, didn't we, stop the traffic, but I think again South Yorkshire Police have raised concerns. They waited until from bonfire night in 2014 to bonfire night 2015 before they raised this issue with us about exiting onto Wrighton Road, which nearly stopped it, but again we're in a position we don't know whether we can go ahead. I know the bonfire has been looked at in a different location, but whether we still stick with it here for this year, I don't know. So that's the implications that it has. You want to say a few words?
Can I just clarify? Point of clarification, then Darren, then Stuart. At the last meeting we did resolve, the council resolved to hold bonfire night here.
Right, okay, thank you. Well, so in that respect, it's still here for the parish.
Yeah, I'm just a bit shocked when you're saying, are you actually saying if we don't police, if we can't get somebody to police the exit from the bonfire, then what's the implication that there isn't?
It's your insurance.
It's the insurance, it's the fact that they probably haven't got any staff to come to the bonfire night either.
Well, why can't we do that ourselves?
We can't stop it.
Bearing in mind that we've just done, the traffic.
You've got to pay for a road.
Excuse me. We need to close the road for bonfire night.
Yeah.
For insurance
Can I just come in and give some reasons why it's a problem?
No, you can't, as soon as I finish, because I'd just like to carry on. So, probably two of the most important days, the one at the church and the bonfire night for all the community, because us as councillors, grown-up people by the way, can't go and stop some traffic within it. The thought is that we'll cancel Remembrance Day and bonfire night. Because that's how it sounds, that it's leading down that path.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that concerns me.
You can't go onto the A57 and stop traffic at the crossroads.
There's legal implications.
Okay, so, okay, all right, let me throw this back to you then, guys. Why is it that this week, on the archaeological dig, that Mr Thornton was directing traffic off the main road?
Right.
No idea.
He
should
should
know.
have. Strictly speaking, the scale was different.
Which I have no problem with.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the majority of people I spoke to was on our land, as it were. I did stand in the road once or twice because the car stopped in the road. Let me see if I can elaborate on what you're
Please,
saying.
because I feel that there's something...
Let me just go on the bonfire quickly, then I'll go on what's been happening with the Remembrance Day parade. It was suggested, or it's been suggested that we employ security guards to seal off the road, etc., etc. I can't remember if I spoke to the Chief Inspector about that, but the point I was making to him is security guards have no legal right to step into a road to stop traffic. If they do, they get knocked over for whatever reason, who's going to pay the insurance? And it's quite a costly insurance. It's not a case of being killjoys and we're not going to do anything, it's a case of we have some serious implications of people stopping traffic. We can apply for a planning permission to close the road between a certain time. And I think we're struggling to get there because it's been a main road. It's something we're going to have to sit and talk about at some future date, probably these bonfire meetings, because it has serious implications. Going on to Remembrance Day parade.
Yes, I've got man to do it.
Going on to the Remembrance Day parade, I want to be better with the Chief Inspector outside the meeting, and I put it to him fairly strongly that I didn't think it was right that they weren't policing our parade this year. A parade that's probably been going on since the 1920s. I explained to him why we need police there, because of the traffic, etc., because of the guides, the scouts and the brownies who were in the main road with us. The only answer he kept coming up with, it hasn't got the manpower. And I said, well, you've supplied it every other year, etc. And all he kept saying was, I haven't got the manpower. And he did suggest, he said, one of the things they're looking at, or they were going to suggest at this meeting the following week, which I didn't go to, because I believe it's a waste of time, He was saying that you're going to put forward ideas like the probably in the what is the main thing he was saying? In the past, the south of the borough, i.e. Anston and all around this area, have had a proportionally higher number of policemen on duty in this area than we have in other areas of Rotherham. One of the solutions he suggested, and I don't think it was a plan as such, is that maybe councils need to come together and say, do we need to look at having in year one we have a parade here, in year two we have one at Maltby, in year three we have one at Dinnington. And he said in that way they may well be able to find police to police them. The overall presiding issue is it's very unlikely we're going to have a police presence on the A57 for this year's Remembrance Day parade. I know I'm going on, but try and be quick. I brought this up at the Yorkshire Local Councils Association, and backed by another person, David Rowley, who suggested we write to the Police and Crime Commissioner as a Yorkshire organisation, South Yorkshire branch, and ask them why they're not providing this police cover, and suggesting they do a risk assessment, and if they do risk assessments on all the parades, maybe with a view to policing, should we say, the most dangerous. I know they've written to the Police and Crime Commissioner, but I don't know what the reply is yet. At the end of the day, we pay our taxes. Remembrance Day is one of the most important, should we say, community days in the calendar, and the police, who we pay taxes for, who've just this year again put our taxes up, they should be coming here and policing and working for the community, especially on Remembrance Day parade.
Absolutely.
Can I just add that one of the things, if we can't get that police presence, we're going to have to have a look and see if we can work out where we can start the parade from in South Anston. I've been racking my brains and I can't think of anywhere where you can start a parade with brownies, scouts, whoever else, probably, I don't know, hundreds. It depends on what the weather's like as much as anything else. If it's a bad day and you've got a parade, you will need some sort of police presence at the front of that and at the back to stop traffic. And the thing is, wherever you go in Southampton, you're still going to have to go on a road to get to the church, and then people are sort of on the road and on the footpath there. So it does need. I mean, last year we were very fortunate. We had a retired police officer at Lady Reed, and we had about 4 or 5 PCSOs and staff that did a fantastic job. Because Jonathan was there, Stuart was there as well, marshalling that, and it went off really well, no problems, really good. But this year, so if we can't get that police presence, then we can't start from here. We're going to have to look as to whether we can organise it from somewhere in Southampton. Never as good as if you're parading up to the church, but it's something we're going to have to look at. With regard to bonfire night, at the town and parish council, parish and town council meeting I'm going to on Thursday, the issue of road closures for events like that is on the agenda, because Dinnington have got a problem with their carnival in November, their Christmas carnival, because they were charged an arm and a leg last year to shut the road off. So that is up for discussion at that meeting. So I'll bring that back to the next one to see what we arrive at with that one.
Thank you.
Well,
just conscious of
sorry,
time.
no, I'll leave it, I'll let it ride.
Okay. I had Jonathan with his hand up. Anything specific you want to add?
Well, as a borough council, I hope it's going to be something positive.
Of course, always positive. All I want to say is, from what Clive said about the area assembly, they've come back and said there's no final decision been made yet, that they're not going to police the Remembrance Day. And even if they do come back and say we're not going to do it, it'll not stop us having them, because we should still, we'll do one some way, won't we? We're not going to let that cancel our parade.
I hope so.
Well, we'll manage it somehow.
Yeah.
Well,
And
we
will have a parade.
We'll do it.
Police there or not, we'll do one somehow.
And we're going to cut off the A57, Jonathan.
Don't through the chair, please. And with the bonfire as well. I've brought my son here for the past 9 years.
A57,
Can we listen to Jonathan, please?
I remember a couple of years the road wasn't closed, but because of the amount of people polite and waited. So I don't think we need to close the road.
Absolutely.
Because
courtesy.
I think you've been a bit misguided here, Jonathan, because what they've said at the Borough Council is, and all the police as well, that there will need to be a road closure in place this year. We got away with it last year and the year before, but it's something that they're going to...
But if we didn't have one,
who's going to come and
what's
enforce it?
Well,
who's going to police it?
I'm
Police
standing
on
on Ryton Road in the middle of traffic when we haven't got a road closed or anything like that, because I'm not putting myself...
There's an easy way.
We never had one before, Clyde.
You what, sorry?
We never got...
I know, but things have changed.
Okay, ladies and gents,
Well,
can we
This new regulation.
just get rubbish for EDL
I
now?
agree. It's time
Just finish
to-
what I was saying.
we need to put him back on the...
I'm going to. It needs to come back. I'm afraid I'm going to have to curtail discussion there, otherwise
Clyde,
I'm
that's
going to have to get through the
Yeah, just to finish what I was saying though, is that
Ladies and gentlemen,
we've never
can
had
we
a
be
problem.
quiet, please?
I've never had a problem going home from here on Bonfire
You
Night.
can do
Roads closed or
Easy, man.
so it's not something that it's...
Probably so.
Can we refer this to the next meeting? I'm sorry, you were just going to say, can we refer to the next meeting?
Yes, well, we've been talking about...
On the agenda, early in the
It's got a fire,
agenda, we'll investigate. Thank you. But
I missed it.
Can that be when we're doing this final decision of no, there's no police? Because at the moment we don't really know.
Well, that's what I said, it's still thinking.
Yeah, so we can't
You're
really...
getting pressure for
We
it.
don't.
We can't have a plan, can we?
keep the pressure on, so, for our councillors, keep the pressure on.
Good job, boys.
Okay, so we're going to have to miss some of those items on the agenda.
So number 10.8 can't be
We'll
missed.
still not get onto the DO, unfortunately. Item 13, we'll resolve to...
10.8 can't be missed, Drew.
Sorry?
10.8 can't be missed, we need to have confirmation for that.
No, we're going to confidential
Let's go.
session.
Is it, oh, sorry, is it going, oh, sorry.
I've skipped down. We need to go into the public session before we go into confidential
Yeah,
session.
yeah, sorry.
We're going to go...
Okay, so item 13, to resolve to adjourn the meeting in order to allow the public to raise any issues regarding today's meeting. We have to keep it precisely to 10 minutes. So this is for questions relating to today's meeting. Okay, we'll take...
Actually, I'm just thinking about these people here. I know you've put these gates that you're going to decide on into public session. I can't understand why you've done that, because there's nobody in this room going to benefit. I don't think anybody in this room is quoted for it, so all you're looking at is quotes. And
I've got to agree.
these people that are actually here today, if you thought for 1 minute that there was anything that actually went into confidential on its behalf, why didn't you bespoke meeting for 10 minutes, put that into confidential so that you could give these people an answer that have been sat here all night? That would have been quite an easy step.
Can I just reply very quickly on that point then? I think Stuart might have to say something. So this meeting today will finish at 9:30 and will be available afterwards for any questions. So the reason it's in confidential session is because we have several different quotes.
But you don't have, what I'm saying is there's nobody in this room going to benefit from them quotes. There's no reason why it should be
Because it's
confidential.
recorded.
We don't normally release quotes that
But
businesses
the
have
knitting council
provided.
do it, they don't hide things.
They don't.
They don't, no. They
No.
don't hide things.
Can I just come in and try and clarify a bit more? And I apologise if it sounds cryptic. There are other issues involved besides the financial aspect of it. And it's to do with the law that RMBC have quoted in their letters to us. I can't say much more about it, but there has to be a possible discussion over legal implications. I'm just sorry, I can't say no more. That's why I've asked you to go into confidential session. I assure it's not to hide any information from yourselves. It's the way we do things, the way we have to do things.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Question back.
Rubbish.
Yeah, it's, do you know these kids' parents? I mean, you're sitting here saying, well, we're going to work in Europe, but we'll decide what's when. The problem is, exactly, what I want to know is, if you really want to know how to get value for money, ask the people of the village who's going to use it. That's the young mothers with the kids. What sort of equipment are they wanting? It's no good providing any sort of play equipment if it's not going to get used. So the best way forward, the best way forward, and the best way to actually attain value for money is find out what groups you're trying to target for these kids to be using. That's what you've got to do. And also what you've got to do then is, how long are these working groups going to get to go in? Councils have gone to working groups, they haven't even met. It's no good letting this drag on, because while you're dragging on, your equipment's deteriorating time by time. It's far better off to buy the bullet, replace a little bit of it, instead of just waiting until you've got a great massive bill to replace the lot.
Councillor Manship, I think. Councillor
I
Thornton.
agree with the first bit. At the first stage needs to be consultation. There's lots of ways we can do that. I think we need to improve the way we do that as well, so people get the message better. The only thing again that will take some time. The only thing is which bits do we then replace? You see, because if it then doesn't match the consultation, then we've made a mistake. We've spent money when we didn't need to, and things like that.
You've got two pieces of equipment, one what's been brought for years, one what's only half there. So that's the two bits you would start with. If you could have two pieces of equipment, renewed on your plane, on this part, what would be prepared? What would you prefer?
Well, that'll be in the consultation. Yeah, well, like the
It's not
consultations, don't you?
Well, you've got, if it's going to cost you 5,000 quid, pull it out in 28 you've got it.
It's not, we're not here to discuss
Can
it.
I just come in quickly then?
Can I just say, I can tell you what the kids want.
Yeah.
I've had 2 children at this house. I've got grandchildren at this house. I hear everybody in that park. I can tell you exactly what they want, and I can tell you exactly what would be best done in there. Now, I've spent years, I actually spent 2 years campaigning for some equipment
Because we have a
in there.
question here and we have a
Well,
reply
that's
from
me, I'll
Councillor
tell you.
Thornton.
Got a question.
I think definitely we need to get members of the public involved. So.
Yeah.
Can I just say quickly, I can understand probably there may be frustration when we say we have to form working groups. End of the day, we're here to represent the people. And part of that representation is we have a duty to ensure that we're providing value for money. You may well say just bite the bullet and pay for it. £5,000 figure you mentioned, but there's not just this park here, and as I explained to yourself before, it's not just Lockwood. We have to look at an overall bigger picture. Yes, it's a slow process, we have to go through it. This thing about ask what the children want, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But you've also got to remember, we're like you, we have children, grandchildren, etc., and we're all kids ourselves, so we know what's good and what's bad. It's just the way parish councils operate. You cannot start jumping over like committees and working groups. We have to ensure that we're getting value for money. And as for the 28,000 that went over this year, that's a magic pot, is that? Because I think we've already spent it about 5 times. We've not only got that, we've got other major projects we need to be looking at. One of the major projects we haven't even discussed yet, which probably will be coming up very soon, is the potential for a new cemetery. And we haven't got a clue what that's going to cost. And that's why we're being slightly cautious in when we come to spending money. If we've got the money, and we've got the way to do things, and we've got the things in place to do it, I'm quite sure the councillors will vote for things. Well, but it's not just as simple as saying, I want this, I want that.
No, I know it's not.
Thank you. We have a question on.
All right. I know it's not just as simple as saying I want this, I want that. But what I'm saying is, how many working groups has this council created and not met at any?
I think
You're not getting any further forward, you're just putting this working group further down the list. If you wait for a working group for the cemetery, you'll have undertakers queued outside with copies.
One question per rep.
The member in staff, can you just control the traffic lights? Or whether somebody come out and just go down the left down
So you can get.
Clive has, I think Clive has.
You answer the question then, Clive.
Well, that's
Police.
down to Robert.
Police who are not willing to come.
Christine.
Clive, can Clive reply to the point, please, because Clive is informed.
Can I just say that you will have to get the Borough Council to do that. So it's entirely at their whim, but I don't, whether they do it or not, I don't know, but they'd have to have somebody out there that would be in charge, I would think, to do it on a Sunday morning to shut the traffic lights off. It's much easier, you just have a policeman stood on the grass for 5 minutes and it's done and dusted.
We know that, and they won't do it.
Consider if they won't do it.
There's traffic lights either.
It's an option, though.
Just cross on green and...
It's an option, but I don't know whether they would take that on board or not, in all sense.
Can we ask that?
But we
ask that
need to be at the point where we need to look at that as an option. If the police decide in the wisdom that they're going to try and police it, then we're all right. But going back to the road closure out here, we had 2 PCSOs when we were doing it last year that were there stopping the traffic there and lower down. If the police don't sort of resource that, then we can't stand out on that road and shut that traffic off for 5 to 10 minutes because we get into trouble as a parish council. Because you've got to have that legal officer. If they don't provide any staff for this bonfire, which again is debatable, then we're going to have nobody out on the road to help us control the traffic.
So ultimately what happens then? Do we cancel the bonfire night? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there may be a road closure you have to pay for as well, on top of what we pay. I'm looking at reducing the cost of bonfire night, but I think that's what we should be doing, because if we have to fund something else, then you know, that can come out of the savings. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But how we go on with this road closure and the lack of police presence, I don't know. But as I said, this was brought up. We never had a problem for until 2 years since, when a policeman actually came past, I think, on the night when bonfire night was taking place, and he saw what was happening, and he came back to the council, Michael in particular, and he left it nearly a full year before he decided to speak up about it.
Clyde, you could put a traffic management company out to put lights up to close one side of the road.
You've got to get an approval then from Borough. You can't just do
Well,
that, because it's the highway authority.
Okay, we're going to have to end this
Highway
You don't listen to simple answers, because that is the simple answer. And if Borough Council refused to let you have that road closure, it would be them putting themselves in the position you're in now.
Okay, so we're back into the council
Their road,
meeting.
we can't organise things on their road.
So on to item 14, to resolve to exclude the press and public due to the confidential nature of the business to Somebody?
Second.
That we resolve to exclude the press and public due to the confidential nature and confidential nature of the business to be transacted.
Proposed by Stuart, seconded by Miles. All those in favour? Can we ask the members of the public to leave for the time?
If I made you an indulgence, can I have a graph with them?
I wish to have a word with that lady.
We'll have a 2-minute comfort break if that's...
Can you have a quick word with me? Send an email about cooperation between the two councils. Yeah, I will.
It's all right, sir. Thank you very much.
And I'll be in touch with you.
Well, that's because for you.
That's why I wanted to.
Yes, but I'm going to the park, it's not because it's on the gates. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm for the room. Yeah, because gates could be another. It's on roll top. And they still. Yes, they will. And so two gates, so much more than the people. Then they'll be up there. But it's not even right. The gates have to be. To stop them doing the attraction. Oh, for the youth. This is the gate.
It's invaluable for that. That only got it off those running back.
I've got a question for you.
Right, the gates at Stoneback Line, they've got net, that's what they're based on, the gates. So whether they can't, well, actually, no, they're from the council, Wales Council. They're probably the same. It
We have to say, we're going to approve all otherwise we need to approve the quote.
I think we should really do it.
That's for on the next meeting.
We're back on
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, I would hope it would come to some policy. Well, you can do it, but if you get God doing it,
I mean, no, the insurance you have to, if you've got, so if you said you're about 4